Life doesn't test us when everything is going well. Life tests us in traffic jams, in silent disappointments, in unanswered prayers, and in moments when things don't move according to our timeline. True strength is often misunderstood as loudness, dominance, or the ability to overpower others. But real strength works in a much quieter way. It is the ability to remain grounded when situations try to shake you from within. When life applies pressure, everyone feels it, but not everyone handles it with stability. Some react instantly, some become defensive, and some allow anger to speak on their behalf. Strength is choosing not to let temporary emotions control permanent decisions. It is the inner firmness that allows you to stand your ground without raising your voice or lowering your values. In everyday life, situations constantly test this kind of strength. A harsh comment, an unfair decision, a sudden loss, or an unexpected delay can easily trigger emotional reactions. Weakness reacts immediately because it feels threatened. Strength pauses, observes, and responds with awareness. This pause is not hesitation, it is control. A strong person does not feel the need to prove anything to anyone. They are secure enough to let their actions speak, even when misunderstood. Strength without aggression also means knowing when not to fight. Not every battle deserves your energy. Many conflicts drain more than they give, and wisdom lies in choosing peace without feeling defeated. Walking away from negativity is not surrender, it is self-respect. When you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you conserve your inner power. That conservation is strength. This kind of strength is built through self-discipline and reflection. It comes from understanding your triggers and refusing to let them dictate your behavior. When you are insulted and you stay composed, when you are ignored and you remain confident, when you are challenged and you stay respectful, you exercise strength at its highest level. It is not about suppressing emotions, but managing them with maturity. A strong person does not need to dominate conversations or situations. They listen more, speak less, and act with intention. Their confidence is silent, their presence steady. Even in chaos, they remain centered because their strength is rooted internally, not dependent on external validation. When strength is guided by calmness, it becomes unshakable, allowing a person to remain firm without becoming rigid, expressive without becoming explosive, and confident without becoming aggressive. Calmness is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality it is one of the most powerful forms of control a person can possess. When emotions rise, most people react automatically, allowing anger, fear, or frustration to decide their words and actions. Calmness is the ability to interrupt this automatic reaction and choose a response that aligns with awareness and wisdom. It creates a small but meaningful space between what happens to you and how you choose to act, and within that space lies freedom. In challenging moments, the mind becomes noisy and impatient. Thoughts race, assumptions form, and conclusions are drawn without clarity. A calm person does not rush into this chaos. They observe before speaking and breathe before deciding. This does not mean they are unaffected by this equation. It means they are not controlled by it. Calmness allows emotions to be felt without being expressed destructively. It transforms impulsive reactions into thoughtful responses. When someone provokes you, reacting instantly may give temporary satisfaction, but it often leads to regret. Calmness protects you from this cycle. By choosing to respond instead of react, you retain dignity and self-respect. Your response becomes purposeful rather than emotional, and your words carry weight rather than heat. This ability to stay composed in pressure-filled moments is a sign of inner stability. Calmness also improves clarity. When the mind is calm, perception becomes sharper. You see situations as they are rather than as your emotions portray them. Decisions made in calmness are usually wiser and more sustainable. Even in conflict, a calm response has the power to de-escalate tension, turning confrontation into conversation. People may not remember the argument, but they remember the composure you displayed. This level of calm is cultivated through awareness and practice. It grows when you stop taking everything personally and start understanding that most people act from their own wounds and fears. Calmness is choosing peace over ego, understanding over impulsiveness, and long-term growth over short-term satisfaction. It is a strength that keeps you centered when circumstances try to pull you into emotional extremes, allowing you to remain steady, respectful, and thoughtful, regardless of external pressure. Patience is often misunderstood as passivity, but in truth, it is an active inner discipline. It is the ability to remain committed and consistent even when visible progress seems slow or completely absent. In a world that celebrates instant results, patience feels uncomfortable because it demands trust in processes we cannot always see. It requires faith in effort, time, and personal growth, even when external rewards are delayed. Many people quit not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. When results do not appear quickly, doubt begins to grow. The mind starts questioning effort, direction, and self-worth. Patience is the strength that allows you to continue without constant reassurance. It teaches you to focus on what you can control: your actions, habits, and attitude, rather than obsessing over outcomes that unfold at their own pace. Life unfolds in seasons. Some seasons are for action, some for waiting, and some for reflection. Patience helps you recognize that waiting is not wasted time. During delays, important inner work takes place, character is refined, resilience is strengthened, and understanding deepens. Often what feels like stagnation is actually preparation. Just as roots grow deeper before a tree grows taller, patience allows inner stability to form before outer success appears. Impatience leads to shortcuts, and shortcuts often lead to regret. When people rush decisions, they sacrifice quality, clarity, and long-term peace. Patience slows you down just enough to make wiser choices. It encourages you to listen, observe, and think before acting. This thoughtful approach may take longer, but it builds foundations that last. Patience also changes how you experience hardship. Instead of resisting discomfort, you learn to coexist with it without losing hope. You understand that discomfort is temporary and growth is permanent. This mindset transforms frustration into endurance and anxiety into trust. With patience, setbacks no longer feel like failures, but like lessons shaping your journey. It allows you to stay steady through uncertainty, believing that consistency will eventually bring clarity, effort will lead to progress, and time will align circumstances in ways that immediate action never could. Challenges often arrive uninvited, disrupting comfort and stability, and the first instinct is usually to resist them or question their fairness. However, difficulties are not random obstacles meant to punish. They are structured experiences designed to strengthen the inner core of a person. Every challenge carries a lesson that cannot be learned in ease. When life becomes demanding, it is shaping endurance, adaptability, and self-awareness in ways comfort never can. In moments of struggle, it may feel as though life is working against you, but in reality, it is working within you. Pressure reveals what lies beneath the surface. Just as heat strengthens steel, challenges refine character. They expose weaknesses not to shame you, but to show where growth is needed. Without resistance, inner strength remains undeveloped, and potential stays dormant. Challenges also test emotional resilience. When expectations collapse or plans fail, emotions rise quickly. Fear, anger, and disappointment appear. demanding attention. Facing these emotions without being consumed by them builds resilience. Each time you stand through discomfort without giving up, you strengthen the ability to endure future hardships. This endurance is not about becoming hard or emotionless, but about remaining flexible without breaking. Many people try to avoid challenges by seeking constant comfort, but avoidance delays growth. Growth demands discomfort. When you confront difficulty instead of escaping it, you expand your capacity to handle life. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, and what once felt impossible becomes familiar. Challenges gradually increase your tolerance for uncertainty, making you more confident in unpredictable situations. Difficult experiences also provide clarity. They strip away illusions, false expectations, and unnecessary attachments. When things fall apart, you discover what truly matters and what does not. This clarity strengthens decision-making and aligns actions with values. Challenges force reflection, and reflection leads to wisdom. Resilience is not built in one moment. It is built repeatedly through consistent effort during tough times. Each challenge adds a layer of strength, teaching you to trust yourself more deeply. When you realize that you have survived previous hardships, confidence grows naturally. You stop fearing difficulty because you recognize it as a familiar teacher, shaping your inner stability and preparing you to face future trials with greater courage. And composure, silence, and self-control are often underestimated in a world that rewards loud opinions and instant expression. Many people feel compelled to react to every comment, defend every misunderstanding, and express every emotion immediately. However, true emotional maturity is reflected not in how quickly you speak, but in how wisely you choose when to remain silent. Silence is not the absence of strength, it is the presence of control. Self-control begins with awareness. It is recognizing emotions as they arise without allowing them to take command. Anger, frustration, and disappointment are natural human responses, but emotional maturity lies in managing these feelings rather than acting them out. When you pause before reacting, you give yourself the power to choose dignity over impulse. This pause is a sign of inner leadership. Silence protects inner peace. Not every thought needs a voice, and not every situation requires a response. Many conflicts grow not because of the issue itself, but because of unnecessary words spoken in emotional moments. When you choose silence, you prevent escalation and preserve clarity. Silence allows situations to settle and emotions to cool, creating space for understanding rather than confrontation. Emotionally mature individuals understand that explaining themselves to everyone is exhausting and unnecessary. They know that those who want to understand will do so without constant justification. By practicing silence, they conserve energy and focus on what truly matters. This selective engagement is not indifference, it is discernment. It reflects confidence in one's values without seeking external validation. Self-control also strengthens relationships. When you listen more and speak less, you understand people better. Silence encourages empathy, patience, and thoughtful communication. It helps you respond in ways that build connection rather than damage it. People feel respected when they are heard, and silence creates the space for genuine listening. In difficult moments, silence becomes a shield. Instead of reacting emotionally, you observe calmly. This observation allows wisdom to guide action. Over time, silence and self-control develop inner stability. You become less reactive to external triggers and more rooted in self-awareness. Emotional maturity grows as you realize that peace is not found in winning arguments, but in maintaining balance, composure, and control regardless of circumstances. Growth rarely happens through isolated qualities. It emerges when inner strengths work together in harmony. Strength without calm can turn into aggression. Calm without patience can turn into avoidance. And patience without strength can turn into helpless waiting. When strength, calm, and patience operate together, they create a balanced inner state that supports sustainable growth. This balance allows a person to face life with resilience rather than resistance. Strength provides the backbone during difficult times. It helps you remain steady when situations challenge your values or confidence. Calmness softens that strength, ensuring it does not become rigid or forceful. Patience gives both qualities time to mature. Together, they prevent emotional extremes and encourage thoughtful action. Instead of reacting impulsively or giving up prematurely, you move forward with clarity and consistency. When these three qualities align, decision-making improves. Strength allows you to take responsibility. Calmness allows you to assess situations clearly. And patience allows you to wait for the right moment. This combination leads to actions that are intentional rather than rushed. Growth achieved through this process is deeper and more lasting, because it is built on awareness rather than urgency. Life's challenges become opportunities when these traits work together. Strength helps you face difficulty, calmness helps you endure it without emotional exhaustion, and patience helps you trust that progress is unfolding even when results are invisible. This mindset transforms obstacles into lessons and setbacks into preparation. You no longer see hardship as a sign to quit, but as part of the path. Personal growth also requires consistency, and consistency is sustained by balance. Strength keeps you committed, calmness keeps you centered, and patience keeps you from losing hope. When one quality weakens, the others support it. This inner cooperation builds resilience and emotional intelligence. As these traits develop together, confidence grows naturally. You stop depending on external approval, because your stability comes from within. Growth becomes less about reaching destinations and more about evolving through experiences. Strength, calm, and patience together create an inner foundation that allows you to progress steadily, adapt gracefully, and remain grounded while life continues to test and transform you. Growth is not the result of one dramatic decision or a single moment of motivation. It is the outcome of inner qualities working together consistently over time. When strength, calmness, and patience operate in isolation, their impact is limited. Strength alone can become rigid, calmness alone can become passive, and patience alone can feel directionless. But when these three qualities support one another, they create a balanced inner system that allows a person to grow without losing stability. Strength gives you the courage to face reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. It helps you take responsibility for your actions, stand by your values, and remain steady during adversity. Calmness refines that strength by preventing it from turning into force or resistance. It allows you to think clearly, regulate emotions, and maintain composure when situations become intense. Patience binds both qualities together by allowing time for learning, healing, and progress to unfold naturally. In daily life, this combination becomes especially powerful. When faced with failure, strength prevents self-doubt from taking over, calmness prevents emotional overwhelm, and patience prevents impulsive decisions. Instead of reacting emotionally or quitting prematurely, you remain grounded and consistent. This steadiness is what allows growth to happen beneath the surface, even when visible results are delayed. When challenges arise, many people either fight aggressively or withdraw completely. The harmony of strength, calm, and patience creates a third path. You stay engaged without becoming reactive. You continue moving forward without rushing. You remain firm without becoming inflexible. This balance allows you to adapt to changing circumstances without losing direction. Inner growth also depends on how you handle uncertainty. Strength helps you trust yourself. Calmness helps you accept uncertainty. And patience helps you coexist with unanswered questions. Together, they reduce fear and increase resilience. You begin to see uncertainty not as a threat, but as a space for development. Over time, this internal balance reshapes behavior, thoughts, and responses. You become less dependent on external validation and more aligned with inner clarity. Decisions become thoughtful, reactions become measured, and progress becomes steady. Growth guided by strength, calmness, and patience is not rushed or forced, but deeply rooted, allowing you to move forward with confidence while remaining centered in the midst of life's constant change as you move forward from here. Remember that life will continue to test you in unexpected ways. There will be moments that demand strength, situations that require calm, and phases that ask for patience.